Hello friends, I am Dr. Amarjit Kaur. I am working with Gurugram University in the Department of Management as Dean of Faculty of Commerce and Management, Chairperson of Management Department and Professor in the area of Accounting and Finance as well as Communication. This is my privilege that I am here with you to discuss on technical communication. We are going to discuss this same topic in the second half, Here we are going to talk about what are the advantages of technical communication, what all skills one person should have to be a technical communication writer and formats of technical communication. So let's take first what are the advantages of technical communication. So after understanding what technical communication is in the first half, we are going to take up the advantages now in this half. So the first point is that it reduces the support cost. So if any business is using technical communication and is producing manuals, SOPs, procedures, etc., what happens? The effect would be the support to perform any function, be it a customer activity, be it how to respond, be it how to perform a particular act or a task. It's basically reducing the support cost, the cost to carry over that function, right? So that is the first advantage in any business. The second advantage of having technical communication is that customers' relationship becomes more valuable. Every company aspires to have as many customers as possible, and they certainly value their customer. But if, let's say, if I am performing a task online as a customer, I am paying for my purchase, and there's a help, there's a chat coming up, popping up, seeing I made 3 attempts to pay, I made 3 attempts to change my address, I made 4 attempts to understand what is my e-voucher number or apply. Suddenly then message pops up, you need help. There's a virtual and then they give us or they send us some document that how to perform that. This is not a live person sitting there, but a standard procedure to perform that task just popping up on your screen. Interesting, but it really tells us, as a customer, a message comes us that my company is concerned about my experience, and that's why they are, they have designed their system, their website in a way that I can rely on the document they have produced already, keeping that all these are probable questions, concern or problems a customer may face, right? Then the another advantage is the technology is getting richer, because this technology is one thing, using online payment method is technology. But the moment that technology comes up with some procedure which is written how to use that technology, so that enriches the experience of using technology itself, isn't it? So this is actually complementing the technologies, the new technologies coming up. So now we have virtual realities. I can try my specs virtually to see how a particular specs will look on my face, right? That is a virtual experience we can have nowadays. How a particular haircut will look on my face, how a particular dress will suit on me or not. This is a reality. But if I as a new customer want to try any of these things for the first time and I'm not aware how to do, then what will be there? The moment you click, it takes through step-by-step procedure. That is a technical communication. So my experience as a customer is increasing, right? Is improving, is becoming more nourished, and this is leading to increased revenues. Companies' revenue margins are accelerating. If revenues are accelerating, are going up, certainly the margins, the gross margin, the net margin of a company will go up. Okay. Another advantage is the low engineering risk and improved efficiency. It is going to lower down the engineering risk and it's going to improve the efficiency. Engineering task, let's say there's a boiler which is to be used. So if there is a document procedure coming up straight, that how many minutes is the setup time for the boiler. The manufacturing companies, color sorting machines are there, boilers are there, chain conveyors are there in any rice plant, pulse plant, because I have worked in the food industry, I know that. So the engineering cost, the risk, in fact, the engineering risk goes down. No, that risk can be fatal if the engineer doesn't know that how much is the time to set up a boiler, or any such article, any such product which he is using, any such instrument he is using. So the risk of using that product, that machine goes down, and certainly it improves the efficiency. The moment I am well read, I have a very clear instruction: wait for 30 seconds, wait for 20 seconds after pressing this button, then go wait 20 seconds and then press another button, then wait for another 1 minute and press this button, or do this or that. What is that? That's a technical communication which is actually reducing the risk of either loss to manpower or human being, or as well as the loss to the machine, plant and machinery, and certainly improving my efficiency. That's another advantage. The last advantage I want to discuss is the corporate culture goes up. It improves, right? As a corporate, if I have a culture to define everything in advance, that how a particular procedure to be done, how a particular action to be or task to be performed, I am creating an enabling environment. My employees are getting confident about the way things are defined. They are not worried about their health or their loss, or any kind of loss to them or to their well-being. So it is actually creating a good culture, isn't it? These are the advantages of having a technical communication. Well, friends, after discussing advantages, now I would like to discuss essential skills for technical communication. If anybody wants to carry a profession into technical writing, technical communication, right? You want to become a content writer, but a technical content writer, what all do you need to possess? First of all, you need to have writing skills, because generally technical communications are in writing. The medium to share that written information could be anything. It could be online, it could be a pamphlet printed one, it could be in the form of video, some pop-up, anything. But generally, those instructions are written in black and white. We generally do not have technical communication in oral form. Could be oral, it could accompany written and oral as well, but majority of the technical communication is in the written format. So you need to have good writing skill. You need to have command on the language you are using, be it English or Hindi or Punjabi or whatever, or French. So you need to have a good command on written skills. You need to have technical skill. You need to have the knowledge about the procedure, the manual, the SOP you are writing. You cannot just write a technical document simply that you know English or Hindi. No. Knowing language is of no importance here. The technical knowledge is important. Only a doctor can write about the procedure or can collaborate with the administrative staff to write the procedure. Right? Oral communication is also important. Before we write or decide the technical communication, procedure of operation, manuals, SOPs, etc., there are discussions going on between more than one person, between teams, to produce that document. So when discussion is going on, the role of oral communication, the verbal communication comes in. If the person who is actually writing the document per se and the person who is explaining, if they cannot comprehend each other's explanations, briefings, it's going to cause a problem. So you need to be good in oral communication as well as written communication if you want to get into technical communication. You need to understand software tools, because most of the technical communication is made available through softwares, right? So that's another requirement that you are aware, because if you remember, the Society of Technical Communication says that the scientific, engineering area, mathematics area, computer application area, all these are areas of technical communication, but we may use technology. So technical communication can be, or generally is, technology enabled as well, though they both are different things. Computer language should be known to you, because you should be knowing exactly how it will sound, what should be the size. If I'm putting a pop-up on a computer, on a web page, or anywhere, what should be the size, format, font, etc., etc. You need to have computer language known to you, because we do not write as it is, we write in the form of codes, many things. Scientific knowledge, you need to have knowledge of the area you are dealing with, so that scientific knowledge is required. You need to have problem solving skill, the attitude, because you are basically trying to help somebody understand how to solve a problem if you face it during the procedure, during the process. So unless you have the skill of problem solving, you think that way, what all could be possible problems, if you are good in making a logical discussion or argument with yourself, reaching to a conclusion, these are the probable problems and these are the probable best solution, that skill needed to be there. You cannot actually consider to be good in technical communication. And you have a habit, you have a belief in self-learning, because in technical communication we need to update it very often. The moment new technology comes in, the moment there's a change in the procedure, the moment there's a change in the direction, the change in the legislation, we have to rewrite it, right? So self-learning is very, very essential in technical communication. Well, after this, friends, I would like to talk about what are the channels of technical communication. Listening, which is not that great, not much use, certainly is there. Writing is the most commonly used. Speaking is another way. Visuals and mathematics, science, visuals are also means of or channels of technical communication. The next thing I wish to discuss is forms of technical communication. So oral communication, written communication, electronic communication. The third one, oral and written, you understand. The third one, electronic, is also becoming very popular, rather more popular than the first two. Written is, of course, is also very popular. Oral is not that popular. It is true that in certain, let's say we are launching a missile, and basis on the temperature, the wind speed, etc., on that particular day, there could be an oral communication which would be a technical communication by the scientist sitting in the lab and looking at the wind speed, temperature, every other thing, movement of stars and whatnot. So there could be some instruction which comes at the end basis on the very current situation, that moment, then oral communication does take place. So we have another examples, where oral communication does take place, which is technical though in nature, but majority of the total technical communication falls under written communication, and now gradually electronic communication, which is web page helps, the examples we took of online payments and then pop-ups, etc., those are becoming more popular nowadays. All right. So after this, friends, the next thing I wish to discuss is essentials in technical document. So what all essentials we need to have or we should have in a document if I'm writing a technical or I'm making a technical writing. So there are a couple of things which we need to consider here. The first of all, use of heading. So why we use headings? Try to understand that. We are producing that document to make the act, performance of an act or a task effectively. If you remember the objective, right? We are trying to write technical documents. Simply we want to make the life of employees better, customers better, their experience better. If I write something, just imagine everything which is important, everything is written in a document, but not under heads. Without saying the problem of CVV, problem of password, problem of identity, so if you face problem of XYZ, what is the document for refrigerator, problem with the temperature, problem with the thermostat, problem with the door, light fluctuation, power fluctuation, etc., etc. So if I do not make heads or headings in that document, my purpose will be defeated, isn't it? So the point I am making is this, that we need to use headings, and not only for the technical document. It is advisable to use headings to make the document more readable, understandable, right? So we have to have sections under main heads, and not only that, we have to have coherence in those sections, right? The sections should be coherent with each other. It, as I generally say, in a report, we cannot write the findings first and then methodology later. We cannot write the findings first, introduction at the end, right? This is the most basic example I always quote in my class. What does it mean? We have to use headings, as introduction as well as finding or conclusion, but we cannot organize it in any way we want. It should be building up. So the first heading is written, the second heading should build up, or it should be in continuity with what I wrote at the first hand, right? So it needed to be coherent with what I intend to communicate through the document, in consistency, in step-by-step procedure. So that is the first thing, that the essential is that the technical document, which is the output of technical communication, must have headings. Then we should enlist, use of list to present information concisely. If I want to, I want to present information in the document, and certainly it needed to be clear and concise, so I can list them. Instead of just writing a mess up long paragraph, how about if I put numbers, if I put Romans numbers, if I put small alphabets, I put logical headings, and then I list different subheads under that. How about that? Certainly it helps the reader, because it's not that the same doctor is performing the same procedure every time. We have so much of turnover or turnout in any business. There's so much of layoff in any hospital. So there's a likelihood the person the whole team has changed in 2 years time, 5 years time. The procedure was written in 5 years ago, then those doctors were involved in writing the procedures, but now after 5-7 years, there's no one from the team who wrote the document, or there's hardly anyone or one person. So unless it is written concisely, it is listed exactly under good heads and subheads, our document has no meaning or no use to the readers. The third essential in technical document is supposed to be having use of figures and tables. So friends, if it is a very common understanding, right, if we are presenting data, information with the help of some visuals, with the help of figures, with the help of tables, and there's an index in the initial pages of the in the content page of the document, it really makes things easy. Imagine, you guys as a student, many of you have to submit your summer internship report, SIP. You have to submit your thesis as a scholar, or dissertation as a master's student, or philosophy student. What happens there? If you notice ever any thesis, any dissertation, it is always written initially it is written very clearly the number of chapters with their name on the page number, then there's a list of figures, then there's a list of tables, right? Both figures and tables are presenting some kind of information. A table could be giving a summary of, for example, how many respondents we interviewed, what is the demographic profile of the those interviews, those respondents, what are their responses. So we have one table for the numbers, another could be for demographic profiles, another could be for their responses on to one question or the one area, and so on. There could be figure, presenting the same table data in a figure format, in a chart, in a diagram. So why are we doing that? This is giving visual effect. Instead of just writing in detail, instead of just writing sentences, long paragraphs, if we are using figures and tables, it really makes the technical document more effective. Okay? And the next and the last essential of a technical document is that we have to use of visual design. Why? Why do we use visual design? Pictures. If you see, there was in this slide, the previous slide, which I'm just showing you here right away, there was one, figure on the right hand side. When I'm describing the form of technical communication and I'm using that visual. Why? I'm just trying to, seek your attention, friends, and making you thinking like this, that particular figure or was, does this happen this way? This was the expression, isn't it? So that visual designs really enhances the readability. You become interested if the color coding is done. In this very slide, we have the heading in yellow color, and the rest of the content is a different color. So the visual design enhances the readability. CEC, the broadcaster of this particular program, they really put in good effort to ensure the design is such of the slides that all the readers are able to read it. They are trying to ensure a particular size of the font we use, a particular type of font in all the slides. This is the guideline from CEC. So a document, to make a document make more better in design, in visual design, to increase the readability, this is one example. So in our design may say there should be some white space or wide space, there should be bullet points, a color coding should be there, we should be using indent in the document. What all is this? We are trying to improve the visual design of the document. Bullets are what? Bullets are basically showing that these points are highlighted. By putting a bullet, we are trying to tell you these are the important points, but they are presented in a very concise language. A white space, there's a gap in between the document, between one para and another para. So in couple of ways, by considering the headings, the number of headings, the name of the heading, listing all items of the document, using figures and tables, and then putting up emphasis on the visual design, we are actually trying to improve the readability of the document. with the help of all these things. So friends, if you intend to pursue your career as a content writer for technical documents, for technical communication, make sure that you are good in writing, in oral communication, you know the softwares, and while you are actually writing, after, if you possess all those skills in you which we just discussed, and you want to pursue your career, it's a very good area, very satisfying area, because you are actually helping masses with the help of that small document. You are helping masses and you are trying to make the working efficient and effectively. Make sure when you are writing the technical document in actual, then ensure there's a good use of heading, figures, tables and visual design. So with this, I would like to wind up now, and hoping that you all could understand what is technical communication, what are the advantages of technical communication in business world, and what all skills one should have to communicate technically or to write a technical document. So with this, I would like to now wind up, friends. Thank you very much for being with me. Thanks.